Hi all, you can call me PleightPad or Plate4. While we wait for my Microsoft Sidewinder Pro to arrive, I'd like to go into a bit of a deep dive for you all. On this channel, I will be performing what might look like some strange techno-wizardry to get some weird controllers working. In reality, I will be relying on some random free software I find around the internet. This is all software that absolutely deserves more eyes on it, as they could potentially save you a ton of money and opens a lot of doors for gamers out there. This controller compatibility software could be vital for anyone who wants to game, but doesn't have the money for the latest and greatest input devices. It is also just a fun experiment to see how games would work on the wrong controller. It is all around a great thing that, in my opinion, is never talked about. Today I will be talking about the various pros and cons of some controller emulation and remapping software. Trust me, there's a lot to choose from. All of the software I'm talking about today is available on Windows 10. Of course, I will be providing links in the description. Please keep in mind I am not sponsored by any of these. This video's intended purpose is to put these applications on your radar rather than teaching you how to use or install them. If you would like to see specific tutorials in the future, please let me know. Today I would like to start with my personal favorites from KeyPuncher, WinUsoft and WinUPro. Though these sound like the light and pro versions of the same app, I assure you they're not. Both of these open source applications are completely free to install and use. Each has their advantages and disadvantages. Wii controllers, like most controllers, use Bluetooth. However, these computers have zero idea what to do with them despite being able to connect. WinUsoft and WinUPro solve this problem by essentially tricking Windows into thinking the Wii remotes and accessories are an Xbox 360 controller. The best part is that you get to map the controls to whatever you want using the fantastic and user-friendly UI. You could also save your button mapping configurations as a file for later use. Of course, WinUPro and WinUsoft are two different applications for different uses. As the name would imply, WinUPro does a lot more than WinUsoft except for one thing only. If you aim to make use out of those infamous wiimote tilt controls, use WinUsoft. WinUPro does not currently have the support for it. Beyond that, the advantages to WinUPro are monumental. WinUsoft only allows for the use of Wii controllers and some accessories. With WinUPro, you are able to use nearly any input device that connects to your computer, but it has highly geared support towards Nintendo controllers in particular. You could even calibrate joysticks and map buttons to keyboard and mouse inputs. A huge advantage to using WinUPro over other applications is the shift feature. As explained in a previous video, a potential shift button could be toggled or held to change the entire button layout on your controller. This is an absolutely necessary feature if you're trying to do something stupid like playing Minecraft with an NES controller. Keep in mind, you aren't able to use saved configurations if you use a controller that doesn't have particular support from WinUPro. The program just seems to crash every time I try it. If you decide to use WinUPro for anything other than the supported Nintendo controllers, you will just have to reconfigure the gamepad every time you use it. If this is not a huge issue for you, I would highly suggest this application. xoutput is another great option I would like to mention. The developer's name is on screen. I do not want to butcher it. xoutput is very similar to WinUPro, just with less features. You can map virtually any gamepad's controls to an Xbox 360 controller using the fantastic and user-friendly UI. I would argue that xoutput's mapping process is much quicker and nicer looking than WinUPro's. If you press buttons on a specific input device, it highlights the controller. This feature, although it sounds super simple, has saved me a lot of time, especially when I have a million input devices plugged in. Unlike WinUPro and WinUsoft, you cannot save your button configurations at all. You have to set up your button mappings every time you want to use your controller. However, this is not really a huge issue since xoutput's mapping process is super easy and quick. This brings me to the final X-input application I would like to talk about, X360CE. If I were to describe it in one word, it would be compromise. The developers who seem to work on it are being shown on screen. However, I am unsure because I had to do a little digging to find this information. I'm honestly not sure with how GitHub credits people, so please bear with me on that. X360CE's advantages over xoutput and WinUPro are that you're able to save button mapping configurations for any controller you use on it. Kind of. You are able to map up to 4 controllers. Button mapping seemed to stay put even if you close and reopen the program. I think you're able to calibrate joysticks and triggers in some way too. However, I have not used this function on X360 CE extensively. When I tried, I ended up calibrating the joysticks I was using completely wrong, and I have not tried since. Please let me know in the comments your experiences with this program. X360 CE does the job just fine if you're not using a Nintendo controller specifically, and you wish to save your configurations at the cost of having a strange UI. That's all I really have to say on the subject of gamepad software for now. I hope you found this video to be quite informative. Please support the mentioned developers in the video, and let me know your experiences with these various applications. Subscribe for gamepad tech related content, and give this video a like if you so choose. I hope you have a nice rest of your day.